When I make videos with my iPhone, I usually walk around with a gimbal so that the shot is more nearly steady than the disaster when I handhold it without a gimbal. This is my favorite gimbal because it has a cable that lets me plug the iPhone into the wiring on the gimbal, and I can attach a separate microphone there instead of using the microphone on the phone, which is subject to wind. I live in a windy area. So among the problems with a gimbal is that you have to balance the phone on the gimbal, and either the on-off switch or the volume switch gets in the way, and I end up with the gimbal pressing one of those buttons and screwing things up for me. I have a low aggravation factor, and I don't like to be aggravated. So let's take a break and do a video of watching me put the smartphone in that gimbal and attach it and balance it. One of the major problems I have, this is with it on a table, that's very easy. The major problem I have is that I'm often on a street or in a park or some other location where I can't conveniently put the gimbal down and let it sit stably while I try to balance it like you see here. And of course the other problem is when I do get it balanced, the compression bars are pressing on a volume or on-off button. I use an application on my iPhone for video called Cinema P3, and that application has a stabilizer built into the application. And when I turn that on, the iPhone does video handheld as well as it does video with a gimbal to stabilize the phone. So I like that. That means I don't need to have a gimbal but to carry around, but it also means I have to have some way of blocking the wind on the microphone on the iPhone. And the problem is the best windsock I can find covers up the record button, so I can't start and stop recording with the microphone muffled. So I saw video cages and read up on them and found one that fit my needs. I had to have one that was not built for a specific phone because at the time I bought it and started using it, I had an iPhone 13, and now I've bought an iPhone 16, and I wanted to make sure that it fit. It doesn't come assembled, so you have to put the hand grips on. That's very aggravating. There's a little metal plate behind those two screws, and you have to put that plate in to fill this gap. The screws themselves don't fill the gap. And I had a horrible time because my fingers don't fit in. I can't hold the plate, the screws, and the part they screw into. Very aggravating. So I thought, well, I'll show that when I do the video to show how difficult that is for me. Then I put the other one on, and it was so aggravating I decided, forget it, I'm not taking that apart again. So I'm not going to show you how horribly difficult it is. It's really aggravating. I put a tripod on it so that I can sit it down. However, the major reason I put the tripod on it is I'm so used to holding a gimbal like this that I put that on, and I'm not sure I really need it. The cage is really nicely customizable. You can put these handles on up and down anywhere you want. I've put them on it so that they provide a base for the device to sit on. You can see the various places that you can attach tripod-shaped, tripod-sized screws. It's got a cold shoe mounts all around. Waiting for the car to stop. So I had a microphone already. This comes with a kit which provides you a tripod and maybe a microphone. It provides you a video kit, which I didn't need because I had all the stuff separately. So I can put my iPhone in, screw this down, and plug in the microphone. And I'm good to go. The thing that I really like is I don't have to center the phone in this mount, which means I don't have to put it on any of these buttons. I can move the phone over as far either direction as I want and not press any of the buttons and hold them down. I like that a lot. Now, let me see where it is. Oh, there's a secret. You get an Allen wrench that fits these screws when you're screwing the handles to the frame, but you also get a little tiny Allen screw, and that goes on these screws, and you can see the holes. This doesn't have to be centered. You can move this left and right. I haven't needed to because I have all the slack I need with this big cage, but if you've got a Max phone, you can move this back and forth to let you get the phone where you need it to be within the cage. One of the things I found when I'm using a gimbal is I get tired of holding the thing, so I switch it over, and that's always visible in the video if I do it while I'm doing a video that I can't stop. But with these handles, I can almost get it done so that you can't tell. I can hold it in one hand, hold it in the other, switch hands without major disruptions in the video that I'm making. I think the brand of cage is visible. I don't recommend it. It works for me, but there are other cages that should work equally well that you should buy to meet your needs. My goal was to have a cage that was adjustable and had a lot of different attachments. I did a test of my iPhone 16. I set it up on here and then just put it on a counter and let it run. And I gave up at 4 hours, and it showed I still had 23% of my battery left. So I don't do anything that's going to take me more than 4 hours. So I don't need to have an extra battery put in. But if you do, one of the things to think about is expansion when you buy a cage. With these cold shoes and the various mounts that you can attach things to, I've seen people doing videos with a USB-C hub mounted somewhere on a cage. The hub has a power outlet, and you can then plug that power into the iPhone and attach a small battery pack to your USB-C hub and have that power your phone if you need more than the hours your phone will hold up. But the USB-C hub has 3 or 4 inputs, so you can also input a microphone to it. You can input a headphone to it so that you can monitor your audio. So I recommend getting a rig that has options, lots of options.